It can be very intense.
It's
just
actually,
like seeing someone you love deeply in pain and going through this challenging moment. Sometimes you can't withstand it. But it would be good if you are there. I understand some people don't want to see their partner in pain, but it would really be great for them to know they're supported.
You've just got to be strong, because there will be lots of emotions flying around, you know. I remember my wife saying all sorts to me then, but I knew it was... Hello everyone, welcome back again to Thrive with the Bomides. And as always, if you're new on our channel, I am Felix.
And I'm Olanike.
And it's really good to have you join us. Thank you once again for staying true to our channel. Thank you for watching our videos. And thank you for liking and sharing our videos with your friends and your loved ones. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe to our channel. Put on your notification bell so you can be notified when we drop new videos. Now, on today's video episode, we'll be talking about a topic that is really passionate to me, which is my experience in the labor room when we had Phoebe and Joshua. So Phoebe is our first child. She's going to be 3 in March 2025, and Joshua would also be 9 months in March 2025.
Yes.
And this is going to be a 4-part video. So part 1 is about what?
Yeah, so part 1 is about the build up to the day, the big day. What were your emotions, thoughts, just something like before the big day. So that's what we'll be talking about.
Okay.
So before we go in, we're just gonna say, how do you feel being a dad of 2 children?
Well, I think it's one of those experiences that you cannot quantify.
Let's have it.
But I would say it's qualitative in terms of how I feel.
Yeah.
I'm lucky to be blessed with 2 wonderful children. Phoebe is a very beautiful girl.
Yeah,
you know?
she's amazing.
She is amazing. And the funny thing is, people say she looks like me.
She does look like him. She does look like him. I'm sorry. I probably lost twice, but I'm okay. I don't mind.
You don't mind.
Yeah, boy.
You haven't got a choice now, have you?
I haven't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
see what's on your mind.
Honestly, I'm grateful for having these 2 lovely kids. Phoebe is really a very lovely girl, and Joshua is an amazing boy, growing in all vigor, growing in wisdom, and is really handsome as well.
Okay.
So I'm grateful to God for that.
Yeah. To dive in straight to your experience. So before the delivery, what were your thoughts? Obviously, like the first time would probably be different. Like what emotions, what were you thinking, like as a dad? Because with being a mom, you probably like prepare a little bit, research but with being a dad, what were your thoughts and emotions? What were you like?
I think, well, the first thought that came to my mind when we had Phoebe was the fact that, I'm now going to be a father, you know, going to have that responsibility over someone. So those were the thoughts that, you know, that flew through my mind, especially when we had Phoebe, like the first child. And then the fact that, you know, we now changed from being a family of 2, you and I, to now welcoming Phoebe to becoming a family of 3.
It's a big change.
It's really a big change. And then my thought process started changing. I started thinking, I'm no longer a husband. I'm now going to be a father. So having to think as to what do I need to do to raise these children in a nice way? How do what are the things I need to do to become a mentor to them, to be their support system? And, you know, all of those thoughts were what, you know, flew through my mind with Phoebe. But then with Joshua, it's like, I'm used to it already. It was just like, okay, we're looking forward to having this sweet boy come join us, and it was just sort of,
I'm making a room for him.
in our hearts, and also saying, we need to treat our children equally.
Exactly.
And which is really important to us, because I tend to treat Phoebe and Joshua equally without having to, you know, create that sense of, I love this child more than the other. And so that, you know, those were some of the thoughts that I had, actually.
Yeah, so how did you prepare for the delivery? Like, did you research? Did you like attend classes, you know, anything like just to prepare you for the delivery?
That's quite an important question. And I think most men like me, or let me not use the word most men, generally, we tend to just, go with the flow.
Yeah.
Now, how I prepared was pretty much during your pregnancy. The first pregnancy with Phoebe was very much different to when we had Joshua. And I think the pregnancy journey will probably be something we'll talk about in one of our videos.
Yes.
But in terms of the preparation with Phoebe, I had to, support you, understanding the kind of food you should eat, the kind of supplements you should take, even sleeping positioning.
Yes.
Having to understand that I need to make room for you. I need to, all those kind of preparations.
With my pregnancy pillow.
Yeah, exactly. You remember with your pregnancy pillow. It's somewhere in this house, your pregnancy pillow.
No.
I remember having to create room for that pregnancy pillow. It's really interesting, and outside of that, I also, checked online things that we need to know as being a first-time parent, those sort of preparations, the room that she'll be sleeping in, a bed, getting all the furniture. Those are some of the preparations. Now, did I attend any classes? I didn't actually. To be honest, I didn't attend classes, but I knew I went with you to a few antenatal sessions.
Yes, of course.
When we had both children. Now, for Joshua, the preparation was almost similar to Phoebe. By that time I'd already understood what you were pregnancy, so what to expect. But the journey was a little bit different, so we had to sort of adapt as well. I had to sort of give myself a good knowledge as to what conditions could happen in the course of pregnancy, especially when you had few health issues, even being a nurse. Yes, I do know that it has its own benefit,
the health issues. So that is something we're going to talk about in my pregnancy journey. We need to talk about that.
Exactly. So those are the preparations I pretty much did.
Well, that's pretty much, as a mom, pretty much probably like 50% of what I did too. Other things were like personal things and all of that. So what do you think when you actually got to the labor room, to the D-Day, were your expectations, was it like the expectation and the reality? Do you think that it was close enough?
Well, in terms of the expectation, the expectation was I was going to have a child, with Phoebe. And this is me talking about Phoebe's journey. But with Joshua, the expectation was also I was going to have a child. However, the process was different. For Phoebe, thanks to God, your mom came around. My mother-in-law was around to support us. I think she came a few days before you gave birth. But then I had to be going to the labor room, to the maternity center for, I think you were there for like 3 or 4 days or something like that. And it was really, 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 really a tough moment for me. I tried to show that strength to you. But having to finish work and then go to the maternity, even when I'm at work, I'm not even focused actually. I just kept thinking, oh, my wife is somewhere here, that kind of thought kept going through my mind. And in terms of the reality, because I'd also, taking part in spontaneous deliveries before, I kind of sort of have a clue as to how the delivery will, but then I also thought out, I was like, what's the worst case scenario, And yes, it's always good to be optimistic, but I also try to think about the worst case scenario, which could be a cesarean section. As to, okay, I need to get my head straight. If I'm having to, if I have to be the one to sign, okay, what are the suggestions? I need to get my head needs to be straight. I really need to know what options are available, what options are on the table, what options can we explore, can we not explore. So those are some of the things, those are the things that happened on that day.
And to buttress on that, I remember we had a conversation about what we would like or what I like in the labor room, because obviously when you are in that position as the mother, sometimes some things can be bleak. You might not be conscious enough to like speak out for what you want. So we had a conversation about what I want in terms of treatment, the method and the preparation. So I think that was also like something you needed to like step in, get your head straight and just be there, because obviously I wasn't like in my 100% emotionally and mental wise. So that's a good thing.
Just and to add to that, preparing for to be in that labor room with you, it wasn't, honestly speaking, if you're a man and you're really going to stay with your wife in the labor room, 2 things I would say. Number one is you really need to be knowledgeable. you really need to understand that pregnancy and know what the expectations are. For me, I knew we're expecting a child. We're not expecting twin children. And so my expectation was, yes, we're expecting a child.
Yeah.
Now, what sort of treatment my wife would need in terms of anesthetic options, in terms of pain relief. We've discussed all of this prior to being in the maternity room, a few days before the delivery. We discussed about it. Even when, she started having health issues, when blood pressure was a bit deranged here and there, we had this conversation as to, okay, if it gets to this, what do we need to do? This is what so if I was going to consent to alternative treatment, I already knew
which one I liked and
exactly.
which one I wouldn't consent
and
to.
not just even that, what would be beneficial for the child as well. So those were the conversations we had. But then being in that moment, seeing other lovely women as well trying to give birth, honestly, it was just full of different emotions. But as a man as well, you've got to really, really show strength, because at that time, you were literally full of emotions, and then for me, it was just me being supportive and really, really showing you that we can actually do this thing.
That's, and to be honest, especially with Phoebe, I felt the support, because I can remember so at the time I was really like, I wasn't myself, and then they were giving us options of treatment, and I was like, I could hear you. I heard you saying, oh, she doesn't want this one, we don't want this one, please do the other alternative. And it was really very good. It gave me strength to kind of know that there's someone in my corner that is supporting me at that time. So it was really a good thing.
And to add to that, sorry, Nika, is a quick example is the use of this, is it gas or something?
Yes, the gas and air for pain relief.
For pain relief. And we talked about it. Personally for me, I think the spinal anesthesia would probably have been a different option, but my wife wanted something different, and I stuck to it. I said this is what she wanted. Even in terms of pain relief, I was like clear in my head. She didn't want this. Yes, I understood the side effect. I'm a nurse. Yes, I've taken deliveries myself. Yes, but then this is my wife. So I've got to really not just see her as a patient, but I've got to see her as my wife, as a mother, and as someone that's going to bring our first child. Similar to how we had Joshua as well. We talked about all of this, and the experience was fairly similar. But we'll talk about the pregnancy journeys at some other time.
So it was fairly similar but very distinct also. So what advice would you give to expecting fathers out there on how to like prepare for the labor room experience or prepare for that magic moment in the labor room, and what to expect, and how to like be in the right mindset for that moment?
Thank you. I think my advice would be in three parts. The first advice is there is never sufficient enough information out there for you, because each pregnancy is different. Yes, we are blessed with very seasoned gynecologists and obstetrics teams and stuff like that, but each pregnancy journey is different. And so I think the first thing in terms of preparation is to understand your wife, understand your partner. So if you're not married, you've got a partner, understand your partner is really, really key. Understand their body, understand their system, understand their past medical history, understand their previous health concerns. Have a very good understanding about what they are, or in terms of their body, their systemic changes and stuff like that. That's number one. The second preparation that I would say is that you've got to accept the fact that your partner will probably not look the same as they were before. So if they're having their first child, hormonal changes and stuff like that would all happen. Oftentimes you see women gain weight, and all these things happen. We must, as a man, prepare ourselves for that. Because the funny thing is that for us men is as we get married and we grow older, especially when you are in your 30s or maybe early 40s, your body system looks fairly same, except if for different health issues and nutritional changes and stuff like that. But for the women, pregnancy obviously changes their outlook, so we need to embrace that. We need to understand that those changes will happen, and really, really be supportive, because women can be emotional in that sense. Now, the third advice I would say is that clearly get a good picture of what kind of pregnancy you're going to have, in terms of babies, the number of babies, because it will then help you in terms of preparing for the little ones that are going to come, and then speak with the healthcare teams as well, the healthcare professionals, health visitors, midwives, the team of doctors that are looking after neonatologists, the neonatal team and stuff like that. Also have a clue as to where the delivery will take place, because it will be nice for you to go there and see how the labor room is, the structure, if you'll be allowed to stay overnight, if you'll not be allowed to stay overnight, if you'll be allowed to bring food. You know, all of these preparations are really key. And then on the day of delivery, you've just got to be strong, because there will be lots of emotions flying around. You know, I remember my wife saying all sorts to me then, but I knew it was the emotions, you know.
I know. And to be honest, at that moment, I know some men, they don't have like not the bravery. They don't have that kind of I don't know, skill or to just withstand that period, because it can be very intense.
It's
just
actually,
like seeing someone you love deeply in pain and going through this challenging moment. Sometimes you can't withstand it. But it would be good if you are there. I understand some people don't want to see their partner in pain, but it would really be great for them to know they're supported, for you to be there holding their hands. I know it's not easy. It's not, like seeing someone you love deeply just in pain, and you can't do anything about it in that moment. So what I would just advise men is that just have it at the back of your mind that it's a phase. It's gonna pass. And then you're gonna have like a good news after having your baby in your hand. So just find that strength and then draw that strength from your partner also as a woman. And then just give yourself strength and support in that moment, because sometimes it can be very intense. You say things to your partner and your partner just feel like, who is this person? And it's just kind of very emotional period but as a man, just have it at the back of your mind, this is gonna pass. You're here to support your partner who is going through a very challenging moment. It is a very challenging and painful moment.
It is challenging.
Just be there and do the best you can, and just see how it goes from there.
Especially during the push phase, when if it's a vaginal delivery, you know, the push phase it can be really intense for you as a man. But you've got to really, I would say, just be strong. You know, that's the essence of this video. I've done it. I was there twice when my wife delivered Phoebe and Joshua. I was there literally from the beginning to the end. You know, I was there when the baby came out. The babies came out to the hands of the midwives. They gave them to me. I did the cutting of the cord. So I was there. I know it. I understand it. It is tough. It is intense. But being in that room with your spouse, with your partner or your spouse, would really go a long way to help you bond as well. It's a bond that will last forever. It will actually. You're just gonna be remembering that period and making reference to that moment. Absolutely.
What is the one thing that you wish you had known before going to the labor room for the first time?
Well, I think one thing that I wish I'd known was that the amount of pain that you would go through. I've seen, you know, like I said, I've been privileged to take deliveries myself. But you know, I've never imagined that my wife would have to go through that pain. But it's very different when it's really personal.
To you, I know.
So understanding that moment can be painful is really key.
That's good. So thank you guys for joining us on this Labour Room series from the perspective of Mr. Bo. So thank you guys. If you like this video, please share with your loved ones.
Please do.
Click on the notification bell so you'll be notified when we drop a new video. So this is going to be in 4 parts. So this is the part 1. We're going to be going on with the part 2 where we talk about the experience, what happened during the period, how we felt and things like that. So come along with us as we go on this journey.
Come along with us. And part 2 is going to be talking about the experience right in the labor room with Phoebe. I will be talking in-depthly about that. You know, the part 1 is just pretty much the preparation. And so please don't forget to subscribe, just like my wife had rightly said. Subscribe, like, and share our video, and please put on your notification bell. We'll see you in part 2.
Bye-bye. So they were like, no, we're not going to wait. We're going to make a spot. So I can remember that it was even a midwife that packed my hospital bag, which was in the antenatal ward. She took it to the labor room and just followed me. And she was like, we can't wait for your husband. Just tell him to meet us there.